All right, I'm going to do a quick video to answer your questions, and then I'll send a response in the email as well. But the video will help on some of the things. So the first question was about the trial, and you were asking about modifying 20.01 or somehow combining that with 20.03. 20.01 is the one you want to base it on because it has, and I think you mentioned this in the video, it has this critical webhook step, and you can, if you're not going to do anything with the waiver or whatever, you can just get rid of that branch and just make sure you've got a step to create the contact, which is what this does. This one does it with the waiver, this one does it without. And then you have a step after that to add the trial to the contact. So to do this, you'll need to set up everything in MB Sync. Let me just find an account. We'll just jump into a random account here. Come on. Just going to launch a new one here. Okay, so you'd want to go into these type settings and set this part is what matters. You would select the trial. You'd want to check the box for send password. To answer a future question, it doesn't matter if you set it both. These do different things. This just lets you get the webhook to create that trial, that whatever each one you set has its own webhook. And that's used for if you're doing the trials in high level. This side is used for if you're doing the trials in MindBody, like if they purchase a trial through the MindBody interface, this would capture that. Whatever you've set here, if they purchase that trial, it will set a tag, send that tag to high level to let us know that they purchased that trial, and then you can create triggers off that or whatever. So they're two separate things. They don't necessarily have to line up. I would probably advise that whatever you set here, just in case they do purchase in MindBody, even though you give them the opportunity to do it in high level. That's really up to you. So let me go back to this. So I would make sure you have at least all this first stuff. You can totally change how you want to do your pipeline stuff, of course, and in your tags. Obviously, you can customize how you want, but these two pieces are critical. Whether you use the waiver version or the non-waiver version, you've got to get that far. And after that, you can change whatever you want. So this one just has the email, um, and the one you were talking about, 20.03, I think has an extra text or something. So you can take any of that or any of this stuff. Any of these steps, yes, you could move them there. This is just logistics stuff and probably should be the same in each of these. But let's see, that's removing from new GHL. Yeah. So these can all copy over. Anything, I think it'd be after like this point, you could copy over. So I don't know why we have extra stuff in here, but yeah, the critical piece is the webhooks. You could either copy this, put the webhook in this flow, or vice versa. It doesn't matter. That's fine. That was a long way to say more or less. That's fine. Let's go back to the questions. Let's see. MindBody, I don't think they have a reschedule link. Uh, and since you're not using high level for booking, you can either take out the part that talks about rescheduling, or I think you could just send them to the page, the MindBody page where they book a class. Just send them back there and they'll just rebook a new class. That's probably what I would do. Um, Lead to trial tracking to completion. I'm trying to remember what this was. Let me go look. I don't remember you covering this in your video, so I'll have to go rewatch the video and then I'll come back and touch on that. 80.03. 80.03 and 80.04 should not run at the same time because you should just delete 80.04. We changed 80.03 to be the newer variant that handles all types of status changes. So that one's already going to cover everything. This one you can just delete. I'm just going to do it for you because I'm 100% sure you don't need it. So that takes care of that. By the way, you want to make sure on any of these updates that allow multiples turned on. I just noticed in some cases it's not turned on by default. It doesn't actually matter for calendar driven settings. Oh, it doesn't matter for contact created either because that only happens once. But for contact changed, you want to make sure that's set. I was going to say for appointment driven ones, those will always they'll allow multiple by default, regardless of the setting. But yeah, just a recommendation there. Jump back into the questions. I already addressed this one, the webhook settings. So this one, email to where do you customize that email? That's a mind body setting. I'm really not that familiar with the mind body interface and where things are. I know, well, I don't even know for sure. I assume you can change or edit that email somewhere in a mind body setting. But when you check the box, it'll just send the standard mind body welcome email, whatever that is. So if they allow you to edit that, it would have to be on that end. I'm just not sure if or where you can do that. Then you said, yeah, about the Stripe purchase. I wouldn't worry about this. As far as I understand, I don't think people can just go and buy a trial somewhere. I don't think there's like a purchase page you send people to in MindBody. That's usually done with someone who has access to MindBody, or at the studio or gym or whatever. I think that's where it usually happens. Or if you direct them to a page where it's for sale, I don't think they can just find it and buy it. So if you have a free purchase configured in MindBody, I don't think anyone can find it unless you put it out there somewhere publicly, like send a post with that link. I wouldn't worry about that. I think they're more or less private by default. No one's going to just find it. At least that's my understanding. So you should be fine doing it the way that you're planning on doing it. So I've addressed these questions, except for this trial tracking one. I'll go back and answer that in the email. And let me know if you need more clarity on anything